You think you know the Amazon. Endless green, ancient, empty. But a laser just stripped the canopy away, and the ground beneath looks like a city blueprint. Stay with me, because what it reveals leads to one unnerving payoff. Wait, are we sure we understand this?
For centuries, the rainforest has been the perfect accomplice. It grows fast, eats ruins, and turns wood and earth back into nothing. Explorers wrote about large settlements and straight roads, and later scholars dismissed it as exaggeration. The standard story hardened. The Amazon is too wet, too acidic, too fragile for big, organized societies. People lived here, yes, but small, scattered, and always at the mercy of the jungle. Then came Lidar, light detection and ranging. An aircraft sweeps overhead, firing millions of laser pulses. Some slip through gaps in the leaves, hit the soil, and bounce back. Stack those returns, and the forest becomes transparent. The ground stops being guessed at. It's mapped, and mapped ground is where the trouble begins, because the terrain starts to look designed. Straight lines where nature prefers curves. Sharp angles in a world of roots and rivers. Raised platforms, rectangular enclosures, long causeways cutting across uneven land like someone refused to negotiate with geography. Ditches and berms in repeating patterns. Clusters of mounds arranged like foundations. Paths that converge, fork, and reconnect with the logic of traffic, not animals. A lost city beneath the Amazon, except the shock isn't only that something is there. The shock is that it resembles planning. Across parts of the Amazon basin, researchers have documented massive earthworks, rings, squares, and lines carved into the landscape, geoglyphs so large you often can't grasp them from the ground. In other areas, there are networks of causeways and canals, as if water wasn't the enemy, but an engineering project. And then there's the strange detail. Dark earth, soil enriched over long periods by human activity. In a region famous for thin, hungry ground, someone made fertility on purpose. So why did we miss it? Because much of the evidence isn't stone. It's earth and timber, materials that vanish when abandoned. A city built from soil is a city built to disappear. And the rainforest doesn't just hide, it erases. Now picture the moment of revelation. You fly over what looks like uninterrupted wilderness. Then the data comes in. The trees are peeled away, and suddenly the forest floor shows grids, plazas, embankments, and roads. Not one odd site, but multiple sites that seem to relate to each other, like parts of a larger system. Your mind scrambles for a safe explanation. It must be small. It must be late. It must be a misread. Because if it isn't, the timeline in your head starts to crack. How old are these places? Many mainstream interpretations put a lot of Amazonian earthworks within the last couple of thousand years. That alone is a plot twist. Complex societies thriving where we once assumed they could not. But here's the tighter mystery. Dating earthworks is hard. Samples decay, layers mix, forests churn soil. And the moment we label something recent, we often stop asking the dangerous question. What if some of this is older than we think? Look at the scale. Causeways that run far beyond a single village. Multiple settlements linked by engineered corridors. Landscapes shaped not like a camp, but like a plan. Coordination like that hints at leadership, shared rules, knowledge passed down. Then the anomalies start whispering. Why build huge geometric forms you can't easily see from the ground? Maybe they're practical, drainage, defense, boundaries. Maybe they're social, ceremony, identity, gatherings that bind communities together. But the precision nags. Straight lines through uneven terrain, repeating angles across distances, designs that feel like templates. When patterns repeat, you can't help asking, who taught this? How did it spread? This is where myth enters like fog. Some indigenous traditions speak of teacher figures, sky beings, great changes, floods, and lost ages. Most scholars treat these as stories, symbolic, cultural, alive, but some listeners treat them as encoded memory. The world used to be different, until it wasn't. And deep time gives that idea teeth. At the end of the last ice age, climates shifted, waters rose, river systems changed. Catastrophe doesn't always mean one sudden day. Sometimes it means years of drought, then chaos, then collapse. In a humid rainforest, a collapsed society wouldn't leave dramatic ruins. It would leave scars, pressed into soil, softened by millennia. Let's keep our feet on evidence. None of this requires aliens. Humans can manage forests, carve canals, build raised fields, and turn poor soil into productive ground over generations. Complexity doesn't always look like stone monuments. Sometimes it looks like planned landscapes that only reveal themselves from above. But the evidence also invites a shadow. If the Amazon can hide large-scale human design in plain sight, what else have we underestimated? What other impossible places are only impossible because our expectations are too small? Now, the what-if possibilities rush in. Dangerous, irresistible, and not conclusions, just doors left ajar. What if there was a lost civilization here? Not a fantasy empire of gold, but a real web of cities adapted to rainforest life, with roads, plazas, and engineered agriculture. What if a catastrophe reset the board? Drought, flood, disease, emptying settlements fast enough for the forest to reclaim them, path by path, until even memory became taboo. What if survivors carried fragments of old knowledge into story? Builders remembered as gods, teachers remembered as sky visitors, engineering remembered as magic. And yes, what if frameworks like Anunnaki or ancient astronauts aren't evidence of literal visitors, but a symptom of something else, our discomfort with forgetting? When we're trained to imagine ancient people as simple, scale and precision feel like an intrusion. The unsettling alternative is that the outsiders were humans we erased from the record, because the Amazon is a machine for erasure. So Lidar's revelation isn't just, look, ruins, it's, look, a whole assumption collapsing. The jungle we called empty might have been organized. The soil we called weak might have been engineered. The past we called simple might have been complicated. And once you see that, the story stops being about a single lost city. It becomes about the possibility of a lost world. So the next time you stare at a satellite image and see only green, ask yourself, is that wilderness? Or is that a cover story? And if the scans keep widening, what happens when the ground keeps answering back with roads and plazas and geometry? Because if the Amazon is willing to reveal this much, one question hangs there, perfectly still. What if we didn't discover a city beneath the Amazon? What if we discovered how easy it is for an entire chapter of human history to disappear? Next, we leave the jungle and step into a place where the past isn't hidden by leaves, but by legend. A city with a name that still vibrates through time. Babylon. And if the Amazon just made you doubt what you knew, wait until you hear the ancient Babylon mystery that experts still can't explain, because the clues are in plain sight, and the answer might be the most unsettling of all.
Once the glittering jewel of Mesopotamia, Babylon was a city of towering ziggurats, mysterious gods, and dazzling wonders. Yet despite centuries of study, many of its secrets remain unsolved. Did the Hanging Gardens really exist, or were they a myth? How did this ancient civilization achieve such advanced knowledge of astronomy, law, and architecture? Even after 4,000 years, Babylon still whispers questions that no one can fully answer.
The first riddle is perhaps its most famous, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. Ancient writers spoke of an oasis in the desert, a palace draped in vines and waterfalls, where trees grew high above the city walls. The gardens were so breathtaking they earned a place among the 7 wonders of the ancient world. And yet, not a single trace of them has ever been found. Archaeologists have uncovered sprawling palaces, massive temples, and even entire neighborhoods, but no structure matches the descriptions. Were the gardens destroyed beyond recognition? Were they a poetic exaggeration, or worse, a misattribution, belonging instead to Nineveh, the rival capital of Assyria? To this day, the Hanging Gardens remain a wonder without a home, a paradise that may never have existed at all. But Babylon's puzzles run deeper than vanished gardens. Take the Code of Hammurabi, carved into a towering basalt stele nearly 3,800 years ago. It is one of the world's oldest known legal codes, containing laws that governed everything from trade and property to marriage and crime. The famous phrase, "an eye for an eye," comes from this very text. Yet recent research reveals something startling. Hammurabi's laws may never have been enforced as practical legislation. Instead, they may have served as a grand piece of political theatre, a public statement of royal authority rather than day-to-day governance. Was Hammurabi a true lawgiver, shaping society through justice? Or was he a master of propaganda, using the illusion of law to cement his rule? The answer forces us to rethink the very foundations of law and order. Then there is the most iconic image of Babylon, the Tower of Babel. According to biblical tradition, it was a colossal tower reaching toward heaven itself, until divine intervention scattered the people and confused their tongues. Archaeology has revealed the remains of a massive ziggurat dedicated to Marduk, Babylon's patron god, that may have inspired this legend. Its base stretched across hundreds of feet, a staircase of mud brick rising into the sky. But here lies the mystery. How high did it truly climb? Ancient texts claim it soared into the clouds, yet erosion and conquest reduced it to rubble long ago. Was it ever as immense as the stories suggest? Or did time inflate its size until it became more myth than monument? The tower remains half history, half legend, straddling the line between faith and fact. Even more astonishing are the Babylonians' discoveries in the heavens. The priests of Babylon were also astronomers, carefully charting the movements of planets and stars on clay tablets. They predicted eclipses, tracked Jupiter's cycle, and divided time with a precision that seems centuries ahead of its age. In 2016, researchers analyzing ancient texts made a groundbreaking revelation. Babylonians used sophisticated geometric methods to calculate planetary motion, techniques once thought to have been invented by Greek scholars 1,000 years later. How did they acquire such knowledge? Did they stumble upon lost mathematical concepts? Or was there an unbroken chain of wisdom passed down through forgotten civilizations? Their understanding of the cosmos still leaves us in awe and in mystery. And then comes the haunting question of Babylon's downfall. In 539 BCE, the mighty city collapsed to Cyrus the Great of Persia, seemingly overnight. Accounts describe how the invaders entered without a fight, as if the city itself had opened its gates. How could such a powerful empire fall so quickly? Was it betrayal by Babylon's own people, weary of their rulers? A political coup disguised as conquest? Or simply a masterstroke of Persian strategy, diverting the Euphrates River to march into the city by its dry riverbed? Historians still debate the truth, but what is certain is this: Babylon, once the greatest city in the world, fell almost without a sound. Even now, modern excavations continue to peel back layers of its enigma. Tablets uncovered in recent years reveal fragments of medical texts describing treatments for disease with both ritual and empirical methods, suggesting Babylonian medicine was more advanced than once believed. Other tablets detail intricate economic systems, contracts, and trade routes, evidence of a society whose reach stretched across continents. Each new discovery deepens the mystery, painting a picture of a civilization at once familiar and utterly alien. But the tragedy is that so much of Babylon remains hidden, or worse, lost forever. Looting, war, and neglect have scarred the ruins. Political turmoil has delayed excavations. Parts of the site were even reconstructed in the 20th century in ways that damaged the original foundations. Babylon resists full understanding because we cannot yet see it whole. What remains is a mosaic of fragments, each piece hinting at a greater truth we may never fully assemble. And that is why Babylon continues to captivate us. It was a city of wonders, yes, but also a city of contradictions, of myths woven into history, and history swallowed by myth. A place where law may have been more performance than practice, where gardens may have existed only in story, where towers may have reached both sky and imagination. 4,000 years later, its secrets endure not because they are unsolvable, but because they remind us of the limits of our own knowledge. Babylon asks questions that we, with all our modern tools, still cannot answer. Perhaps that is why it remains eternal. The desert may have reclaimed its bricks, the rivers may have shifted, but Babylon's riddles still echo across time, daring us to keep searching and reminding us that some civilizations are too vast, too layered, and too extraordinary to ever be fully understood. The mysteries of ancient Babylon have baffled historians for over 4,000 years, leaving us with more questions than answers. Yet recent findings suggest that Babylon may still be holding secrets no one ever suspected. In our next exploration, we'll uncover these hidden revelations that could completely reshape what we thought we knew about this legendary empire.
When we think of ancient empires and their secrets, Babylon is a name that often comes to mind. From its famed hanging gardens to intricate governance, Babylon was a beacon of human achievement. But what about the lesser-known facts? Let's delve deep into the unsuspecting secrets of ancient Babylon. The ancient city of Babylon, with its monumental structures and bustling streets, was not just a hub of commerce and politics. Hidden within its walls was a profound knowledge that bridged the gap between the earth and the cosmos. This was the realm of Babylonian astronomy. Babylonian astronomers, working from observatories that were perhaps atop ziggurats or open spaces, constantly observed the sky, meticulously noting the movements of the stars and planets. Their dedication was such that they maintained detailed records, sometimes spanning decades. These records, often etched onto clay tablets, revealed patterns and cyclic events like the phases of the moon and the regular appearances of certain stars or constellations. What's truly fascinating is the precision with which they operated. For instance, they developed a system to predict lunar eclipses with surprising accuracy. These weren't just based on religious or mythological beliefs, but on empirical observation and consistent patterns. This suggests that they might have utilized a rudimentary form of what we today know as the scientific method, an approach where repeated observations underpin formulated hypotheses.